right, let's begin. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Yvonne Perry, and I have with me today my dear friend, Brenda Julian Williams, and we have been discussing RBQT 18 inches. RB, that is the reset breath, and we have a link below to that segment teaching and demonstrating how that works. Our previous episode was for the quiet touch, and there is a link below to that. And today we're going to talk about the 18 inches. Wow, what is that, Brenda? What's an 18-inch field?
Right. Well, let me see. It's gone through several transitions. We worked with hula hoops for a while to get people to understand what I was talking about when I would call it a tube. But the easiest way, I think, to visualize this, and what we're bringing into focus right now is actually the third segment. The first segment is about bringing our systems, reset breath, bringing our systems into a routing so that the body is functioning. The second section works with how we self-adjust, how the body has the ability to work with our thought process. This is the third segment, which is talking about embodiment. We are now embodying divine intelligence within a body, a physical that was designed to function through anything that we come in contact with. How do we visually give someone an example of that? So the first thing that for me was I would be in a tube like a straw. And it would be, if you put your hands out in front of you about shoulder width and touch your fingers, it's about from that point to your chest, about 18 inches in everybody, which was a little unusual. Short people, tall people, but it seems to work out that way. If you will now visualize that 18 inches isn't just in front of you, it circles the entire physical body. It goes up, it goes down. The interesting thing about that is that it has no top and it has no bottom. So it is actually a tube, totally and completely. What that tube represents is not your auric system, your auric body, all of these bodies that we have. It's not about that. This is you contained in your original blueprint, the signature, the vibrational signature of who you individually are. It's like your fingerprints. No one else has it. No one else has your fingerprints. No one else has your vibrational signature. We are connected because we do not have a top to this tube to whatever you perceive your source or your origin to be. We are also connected because there is no bottom to the planet upon which we reside, because we're designed to move with her as she moves through her process. We are the same. We assimilate information the same. Everything is the same. So it was about learning. The 18-inch process is about learning how we assimilate and decode and process information and work with it. What's outside of us and what's going on inside. Does that kind of get above the head?
That brings a question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking. What is the difference in this personal field that you're talking about, this 18 inches, and the aura, the electromagnetic field of the body, which sometimes goes off and merges with other people and picks up energy? What's the difference here?
Okay, well, let me take you to the Schumann cavity and where all the information is going kind of crazy about it. We see a lot of things happening in the Schumann cavity.
Right.
But the Schumann has a baseline that's around 7.838 hertz, somewhere in that. But yet people are seeing all kinds of activity in that cavity, which circumvents our planet. Well, if you would compare that activity to all of the fields that we have outside of us, our mental field, all of those fields would be similar to the Schumann cavity. So there's a lot going on out there. There's a lot going on out there in the Schumann cavity for the planet. So the planet also has a vibrational signature that is unique to her. We are very similar. We function very similar, so we can kind of use that as an analogy to say, yeah, there's a lot going on there, but it doesn't It doesn't change her baseline.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of activity going on in all of our bodies, but it doesn't change who we are. That signature is unique. It never changes. It doesn't change regardless of what's going on. The things come on out there. We grow how we view things mentally, or we grow in that, but it does not alter. It will enhance, because eventually it will become resonant with who we are, or who we are becomes resonant with what's going on outside. Outside finally catches up with inside. Does that help explain that a little bit?
It does. And what I'm hearing here is we are living internally with our truth, which is a baseline that is stable, that is our soul signature, our energetic signature, which doesn't change, but it is also influenced by things that are external, and yet we have sovereignty over this field. And can we be infiltrated in this 18 inches? I know our aura can, with the collective consciousness.
We can avoid it. We can deny it.
Okay.
Take the example of, who are you? We are the spark from the mind of whatever we call our creator. That spark never changes.
Okay.
But what happens, we've come to this planet now, or wherever we happen to be, we have come here to reside in a human body to begin to bring all of these external influences into resonance and to know who we are from the beginning, using all of these tools and all of these experiences to walk as a human being on the planet, but being resonant with that walk rather than combative with that walk. That's kind of what embodiment means. We are here to embody divine intelligence, divine willingness, divine compassion. That's who we are from the beginning. But we sort of get off on a little tangent from time to time, walking in a human body, and we forget. Well, what the 18-inch process is to do is to make us more aware of that internal field and how it interacts with what's externally pushing in or being shown to us or told us. How does it resonate? Does it create conflict internally? Or do we observe and respond with love, with compassion?
So many times, I know I've worked with a lot of empathic people where they take in a lot of energy from the collective. And when we talk about transmuting it, what we're talking about really is changing the vibrational frequency of that. In other words, we are choosing how we want to participate with that which is outside of us. It's offering us so many options and opportunities, but that does not mean that we have to succumb to those temptations. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In other words, come into our own sanctuary, our own safe place, whatever it is that we might call that, and really resonate with that. That's authenticity. That's oneness.
Incredibly well said, and thank you. That, for anyone's listening, if you will notice how we are bridging the language, how we're bridging and bringing this into the language that each of us speak. I'm a technician, and this has been a process that embodies both the physical, the spirituality, and even the metaphysical at this point. What we're doing is being able to have this language that's complex spoken in a very real and authentic way. So for those of you that are watching, this is what Conversations is about. It is about coming together with our diversity and being able now to know. I know Yvonne understands what I just said because she repeated it back to me in a beautiful way that says, wow, see how quiet and calm this is? There's no pushback. That's the beauty of what the 18-inch allows us to do. It allows us to hear something that may cause us a little disruption and make a choice of how we're going to respond to it. because we're responding from that place of who we actually are, not who we think we are or who we have been conditioned to believe we are.
Right, right. I come from a very religious background. My dad brought me to the altar in a Baptist church when I was 2 weeks old and dedicated me to God. And I was raised very much in that religion. So as I began to find my own inner truth, there were certain things that with the religion did not resonate with my inner truth anymore, with what I felt to be true and authentic about myself. And yet, there are some beautiful things about scripture and about that teaching that was so much a part of my childhood and early years that I still cherish and use that language to express it, because I know it's something, well, first of all, a lot of people in the South are familiar with biblical teachings, and because I want to honor everybody's background and where they're coming from and show you how this can fit. You know, we've got so much division right now and we're arguing, but we're really kind of saying the same things. If we could stop and come into our authentic feel for a moment, we might be able to realize, hey, she's saying the same thing I am, just different. Same thing, but different.
That's similars and difference. That's about the concepts. What happens with the tube as we move into our experience with the tube, we have examples and experientials that allow you to see when you hear something or experience something, does it push out or does it push in? Oh. Because everything that we have judgment about is part of an inner conflict because it doesn't resonate. Well, we have inner conflict within our 18 inches because we're still learning how to navigate in it. It's not the vibrational signature that has an issue. It's what we bring in and try to make it work with that signature.
Our beliefs, our experiences, the filters through which we experience life are also a part of this discernment. Is this my truth, or is this something I've just kind of believed because I didn't have another option at the time as a child?
As a child, what happens with this now when we go through the 3-segment process, remember the reset breath is going to give you an opportunity to bring yourself into that parasympathetic place. So the physiology is working. Quiet touch gives you that ability now to personally, not someone else, you use the tools that are part of your physical body, your hands, to position in these places that have allowed the ancient chakra power system to come together with how information is routed. So now if you'll take a look at what's in the tube is the whole essence of who we are, from creator aligned with the planet, working in maximum efficiency. Now it's up to us individually, which is the same thing we're being required to do out in the world today. There's no one going to come in and take us off the planet and save us. There's no knight in white armor. We are who we have been waiting for. And what's happening now is that we have the ability to come into that posturing in a way that is authentically aligned with who we are at a higher vibrational level, but using our human experience to share that and to walk among people and to be the example, not just the talking head here. Feel it. And that's what happened when we were going through those experiences, and you feel the field mounting. When the internal system is in that space, we become a walking authenticity of our 6th element. We are now what we were designed to be: love, compassion, power, but not the power that controls and manipulates, the power that is able to cut through the resistance of ourselves and others. That's what it's about.
Yeah, sometimes we try to stop the resistance by attacking the other person, but really the resistance is within ourselves. So there's where we need to check. And that's where we do our checkup.
A couple very simple experientials. You find out right away, oh, I was getting ready to blame them, but oops, I've got an issue there. It brings you back into doing your own work, but your own work not just in a spiritual way, in a physical and self-adjusting way. It puts you in charge of what is happening. And that's the simplicity of the mechanics of this process, always remembering that it's you're walking around in a tube and you have connection to creator, whoever you deem that creator to be. I'm like you, I grew up with God, and I don't have a problem with that word, but some people do. And so it cuts through. It gives you that opportunity to define for yourself who you are considering as your creator. But it's also requiring that you work with the planet, you move with her, and you allow her to be an influence in that. And we're in the middle. We're the fulcrum. We're the ones that get to decide what happens in both circumstances. Does divinity actually come? Does the power come onto the planet that everything is beautiful and we can live as these people we say we are? Can we do that on the planet before we destroy her? I believe we can. I believe there's still that potential. I can't give up on the human race because I've watched the ability to grow differently there. And hearing as you begin to explain what, some of the things, and you take these tools, these mechanics, and you put beautiful explanations and experiences around them. That's what we want everyone to do. Don't use Yvonne's words. Don't use my words. Have the experience and then be willing and have the courage to speak them in your own voice. Remember, your voice is your own signature too.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, we would love your comments down below, and wherever you find this video, we would love to hear what your experience is. What are you taking from this? How is it affecting you? How can you benefit from it?
Absolutely.
So we'd love to hear that. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. That is wonderful. A beautiful expression of how we are using reset breath, quiet touch, and monitoring our 18-inch field of sovereign authenticity and being who we are to really navigate this earth plane in a new way. Not really a new way, but in a way that was designed all along. Yeah, so thank you, and I appreciate your time with this. We're going to be doing a lot more conversations now that we've got these three pieces that we felt were very key to the foundation of where we're going from here in our conversations of a different kind. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing your love and your wisdom.
Thank you.